wonderful people. Welcome to another intriguing episode of The Cindy Show with your ever beautiful host, Cindy Official. In my previous episode, I mentioned how I admire one of my colleagues, Reginald at Teshie UPSA. He is here with me today. I believe you will like him even more after watching this interview. Officer Reggie, as we call him, is an entrepreneur, a youth activist, an advocate, a diplomat, a politician, and lest I forget, a corporate MC. Yes, he's jack of all trades. He says he will be the president of Ghana in 2052. So before he leaves, he will tell us how he's working towards that. So, ladies and gentlemen, meet my guest for today, Reginald at Teshie UPSA, aka Officer Reggie.
Hi, Cindy. I think
Welcome to the Cindy Show.
that is an introduction I didn't even expect at all. But
I
thank
told
you
you
so
whatever
much.
we are going to discuss today, you don't expect it, but then you would
Wow.
answer it. We are not
Yeah.
going to talk about politics. I cannot disgrace myself. We are going to talk about you as an entrepreneur, as a youth activist, as an advocate, a politician, all around, whatever you do. So let's start real
Right.
quick. Let us know who you are. Who is Officer Reggie?
All right, thank you very much. And I just want to say a very good day to all your viewers that will be watching us. My name is Reginald at Teshie. Who is Officer Reginald sounds like an interview question. So I'll not answer it as such. I'd rather tell you about who I am as in through childbirth and what I've become today. All right, so I'm the product of two young individuals that decided to have unprotected sex, and I decided to come. All right.
What if they had a protected sex?
No. It was unprotected.
So because they
And
wanted to have
I
you.
decided to come after my dad had come indiscriminately, right? Also, I was going to be my mommy's second mistake. So the truth of the matter is, and I want to say this disclaimer quickly, I don't think that this interview was planned, right? I didn't expect that these were the things I was going to be answering to today, but I'm also going to pour it all. And so I'm very sorry that I'll be going deeper a little bit into my life's history and my life stories, all right? Yeah, so back to who Reginald is. My parents didn't plan my coming. In fact, my mom was a beautiful young lady that grew up in the military barracks in Teshie. And one time, one of the young soldiers, my dad was a young soldier at the time, cornered her, lied to her, and then decided to do their things, right? And so when my mom found out that she was going to give birth to me, what she told me was that she wasn't planning on my coming. And so she wanted to abort me. Because I was going to be a second mistake, guys. I understand. Chill, right? And so, in fact, my dad had given her some of the pills because they were all not ready for my coming, giving her the pills and all of that. But anytime she swallowed it, I also swallowed the pills, right? Anytime she swallowed, I said, I want to be president of Ghana, so I raised my hand and all of that. Today, I say the story to laugh over it, but around the time it was serious. So I didn't grow up with my parents. I grew up with my grandparents. My dad was not ready to take care of a child. He was traveling around the time he left the country. My mom was also pursuing love at some point and all of that, As a young woman, you cannot just limit your life to two young people that I've also brought into the world. She needed to have a life for herself. So she was also trying to, find love and navigate the space a little bit. But I think that all the things that I went through in life has shaped who I am today, right? And so you remember before the interview, you asked me, what tribe is your name? What tribe are you? I don't identify with any tribe. I think I'm Ghanaian first, and that is what I do. Because society will make it look like, okay, you have to be in your daddy's tribe. Meanwhile, my dad was not really in the picture. And I know I'm a man, I've forgiven him, whatever. But I also think that part of me identify as somebody different. So I grew up with my grandparents, grew up in the Teshie soldier barracks because my grandpa was in the military at the time. My dad was also. And then attended Labone Senior High School. I think we'll go into the nuances of all of that. Then did the University of Professional Studies. Then started some things while I was on campus. And now I work as a programs coordinator for the School for International Training. I facilitate a study abroad for American students to come to Ghana and study. I also have a little bit of things that I get my hands involved. I have so many other things that I do. Mind you, I'm the real definition when people say jack of all trade. I completely understand and I completely wear that cap. They go ahead to say that jack of all trade, master of none. Completely, maybe that might be true.
But oftentimes a master of one.
Better. So they say it's jack of all trade, master of none, but often better than the master of one. And I think that is a cap that I confidently wear, because while I was in school, I knew that they say the devil finds work for the idle hand. I do not want to be idle. I want to get my hands dirty. And of course, if you come from my background where I feel that I was not born with a silver spoon in my mouth, I was born with my hands stuck in crude oil. I need to work like 10 times what the ordinary person is doing. And so when people are chilling, when people are like taking it easy, sleeping, doing I am like moving from one thing to the other, because that is what I want to do for myself. I don't want the devil to find work for me, so I'm finding work for myself and all of that. So if you ask me who is Reginald, Reginald encompasses a lot. Reginald is that your guy that can always get things done, like regardless. I do not want to find reasons why I cannot do something. I want to find reasons why I did something, even in the midst of all the other difficulties. Yes, thank you.
You mentioned that you were going to be your parents' second mistake.
Yeah.
So as you sit right now, do your parents feel that you are a mistake to them?
So I was going to be my mommy's second mistake, because my mom at a tender age had already given birth, and then I came in again. So like, oh, another mistake, what society makes it look like. I don't think that I'm a mistake. That is what I want other people to know. My family do not think I'm a mistake at all. My parents, my dad, my mom, they all do not think that I'm a mistake at all. The exigencies of time suggested that. But I know they are super proud of me. In my story, I do not have people that I want to prove wrong. In other people's stories, they say, oh, I want to prove them wrong. These people doubted me. I'll prove them wrong. In my story, it's filled with people that I want to prove right. When I was in class 6, when I was going to class 6, because I grew up with my grandparents, my aunties and uncles were all home and all of that. I remember one time, I think for an entire class 5, I didn't really go to school because of school fees issues and all of that. So I wrote an entrance exam for class 6. Even with the entrance exams, they had already written it. So I was going in because my uncle knew one of the teachers in Field Engineer B. I went and wrote a private exam, just me. I passed the exams. After 3 weeks, 1 month, I realized that the class 6 teacher she was behaving somehow towards me. So I told my aunties, and my aunties, they are twins, beautiful twins, very identical. They wore their skimpy skirt. When I say skimpy, short skirt, the ones that they use for music videos, and then entered the school, walked daily. See, they were turning necks. Like when you see them passing, you all turn, go, ah. They came to my class, and then they told my class 6 teacher that she should stop worrying me. I am their shark. Oh my God. This was a class of about 56 brilliant people, and they've come to make this proclamation that I am their shark. What it meant was that I needed to study to make them proud. Like in my story, I just have people that I want to make proud. I want to confirm them. I want to prove them right. My grandpa was sit, not my dad. My grandpa will sit places and say, that's for this my grandson. I need to make him proud. My mom will be telling her friends when she sees me doing something on TV. I need to make her proud. And so right from that time, if it is quiz, I need to make sure that I am proving myself. So they say I'm their shark, but me, I think I'm a dolphin. I need to live up to like the shark standard, all right? And so if it is quiz, I need to make sure I'm there. I don't know if you remember this show, The Pulpit. I don't know those.
Yeah.
I was on there. I need to make my people proud.
You
I
went
was
to the
there
pulpit.
around that time.
Which season?
God was speaking through me. That's season 2. I need to make them proud. Wherever I go, if it is exams, I need to study and make them proud. SS, speech and prize giving day. Hey, they're going to do speech and prize giving day. My name is not in. No, I need to force. So it has been that force that has been driving me. And so I think I'm in a world where I do not live life for myself. I live life for the people that also believed in me and shared in my vision.
Do you believe that the pressure they had on you has shaped who you are today?
I wouldn't term that as pressure. I would term that as belief. I think that everything I've been through in this world has shaped who I am today. And I'm grateful for everything I go through, no matter even when the storms are so heavy, when I cannot carry it. When I was in the university and I think that, Charlie, I'll go to the last floor and take a decision that the next day, the next week, I'm traveling far away, nobody should hear from me. All those things that I've been through, I think it has contributed in shaping who I am today. And I'm very grateful for everything.
Thank God for that. In my community, I am from the Zongo community. There is a greater condemnation for people born out of wedlock. Where you come from, did you face that kind of condemnation?
Yeah, I think I've heard somebody call me a bastard before, right? And around that time, I didn't think I even understood what a bastard was. I had to Google it. And then, that time was dictionary. I took the dictionary and then I found out what a bastard meant. In my story, right? In my story, I have seen, I do not even call my own a broken home, a home that didn't exist because like my mommy and my daddy were not together. But what has shaped my story is I grew up with my grandparents and I've seen how to love unconditionally. My grandpa overly loved my grandma. My grandma was a stay-at-home wife who was also a trader, so she was working from the house, right? She has this, she sold, so she had things that she was selling. And anytime my grandpa was coming home, there's a sound he makes. And once he makes that sound, my grandma knows that my grandpa is in the house. These are two people that committed their life to ensuring that other people were fine. They had 8 kids. At some point, they had other people taking care, like they were taking care of other people's kids. I could literally count about 17 dependency on them at some point in my life. But these were not people that were overly rich. They were living a normal life, but were able to like make sure that it trickles down to other people to benefit. That is what has shaped me. And so, yes, people have made mention, oh, you are a bastard and whatever it comes with. Other people think that because you didn't come from like a well-established home where there's a mommy and a father, it means that you're going to continue that trajectory. But that is what also shapes my mind. That is what I want to see. The fact that I couldn't get opportunity to be called a DB in school gives me the motivation to make my children, like, I want my daughter to be called a DB. What are you talking about? Like, that is what I want to see. And so I cannot condemn society for thinking of people and calling them names like that. What I can say is that it does not mean that it is all done for you. It does not mean that, oh, it is finished. It means that you are starting from a part or a point where it is that deeper. You need to try as much as possible to get yourself out there. And so, yeah, it might not all be straight. Especially you cannot return home and say, oh, daddy, please, my homework. Sometimes I think about it and all of that. But it gives me the vim to want to be a good dad. You get what I mean? Yeah.
At what point did you discover yourself?
Personally, I think that there are 2 most important dates in this world. The day you were born. Other people think is the day you die, but I don't think so. I think that there are over 7 billion people in the world, but yet I came. It meant that there's a reason why Reginald came into this world. And the moment I discovered the purpose and the reason for which I was born, that is the second most important time. So purpose discovery. Because I'm Christian and I grew up from a home that has very high Christian values, and it was definitely through prayers, through personal reflections and all of that. But personally, at what point did I discover what really I wanted to achieve? It's shaped by various events. So I'll take you through. When we're kids, what do you want to be in future? I want to be a doctor, a pilot. In my JHS2 class, there was this girl I was crashing on, and she made mention that
JHS2, you were crashing on
I
someone.
started crashing on class 6. In fact, even KG2, I had it, so it's fine. KG2 that time, the decks, the dual decks.
You're just sitting with someone.
When you go and sit with somebody and then you cross your leg at the under, then like it is heaven on earth experience. Yeah. So I've been through all those times, but JHS2, a colleague said, oh, there's somebody called protocol purchasing manager. It sounds nice. So when they come, what do you want to be in future? Raise my hand. What? Protocol purchasing manager. Because it's nice. Then another time, a pastor prayed for me and says, you will be an accountant. So I receive it, Lord Jesus. One time I woke up because with my grandpa, we started grass cutter farming, poultry and goats. In 2015, I won best grass cutter farmer in the Lajokugu Krowa Municipal Assembly with my grandpa. I woke up and I told my mommy that, Mama, I want to be a farmer. A typical African mother. And pardon me for my language. We Jimmy Pa, we do go school, also pursue a farmer, And so that was.
Today she should see Farmer John Demelo.
Oh,
Today
yes.
she should see him.
I think she watched this video, so she'll definitely see it. And so, yeah, and I want to be a farmer. And I was watching news with my grandpa one time, and we see lawyers, we see politicians, and he's like, he doesn't even understand why any of his kids was interested in this. It would be nice for them to be shaping policy and all of that. So, in my own world, I am listening to all of these people around me, and I really want to make sure I situate all of them in my story. My mommy wants me to work in a place where I can wear suit and tie. For her, that is the goal for her. Or do couscous, but just suit and tie, man. I also wear a farmer. I think I want to be a farmer. They say you have to be an accountant. You say you want to be this and all of that. And so in my story, I have, and also the reason why I'm caught off is I think I'll share it exclusively here. I grew up because I didn't grow up my daddy and my daddy's family. Grew up and realized that the person I was named Barton after was supposed to be a military officer, but due to some situations, he couldn't become the military officer, and so that sort of crown was put on my head to be a military officer, and I wanted to be a military officer. So right from very young age, they started calling me Officer Reginald. I went to Labone SHS UPSA. I was in the cadet Officer Reginald, and so in the university, I was the only one with my name tag on my chest, Officer Reginald. I revived the UPSA Air Force Cadet Corps. So Officer Reginald was also like a family obligation for you to fulfill. So officer, you have to be an officer, you have to be a farmer, you have to be a politician, you have to be, it's a lot.
Have you forgotten about the protocol?
Protocol purchasing manager, yeah. So we'll come back to it. So all of that, but doctor and pilots, you know that it was something we're just saying, right? And so there was a lot of things that I was supposed to put in this basket. And I think that is what shaped what I become, because all of this coming together will mean that I need to be, every morning when I wake up, I need to be running. I'm not even wait, like I need to be running. So people say, oh, you are too busy. No, like I want to be busy. That's why I'm being busy. Do you have something for us to do? We will make time and do it. But I will not be sitting there and then sitting idle. Lately, I've been sleeping because I wasn't too well some time ago. And so decided to rest a little bit and then care about myself a little bit more. That's what I've been doing. But before that, every day is like, I'm like either the lion or the gazelle in the forest, whatever you want to.
So that is what birthed the youth activism that you're doing?
Yes. That definitely did shape it. So when I was in school, I am somebody that always want to find out why things happening, why and how are things happening, and if there's a reason to question some of the systems. I do not think that we were created to come into this world to just conform or just live to the status quo. Who even established those status quo? Who even established those conformities, like those standards? Can those standards change? Why are we being told that, okay, don't think within the box, think outside the box? Who is even telling us? Why are we even being taught that there's a box that we are supposed to think outside? We need to think as if there's no box, as if there's nothing that exists. Like the framers of those who decided that it should be 12 months a year, those who decided that it should be 24 hours a day, did they have any box to think within or to think outside? So why are we being forced to think outside a box or to think within a box? You got what I mean? And so I really question the establishment of things. This is something that is not really visible within our part of the world. We do not have students raise their hand to ask teachers, why is 2 plus 2 4? Anytime you try, they tag you as 2 no or asheshe, or they give you a name.
Or
prega or something like that. But this is me. I want to understand why things happen. Do you understand? And so from that early age, I started it because of those names. I had to pause a little bit. I think I agree though. Sometimes me prekakra. And so I have to tone it down. Sometimes it is true. You have a little bit too no. So you have to tone it down. But genuinely, in genuine terms, when I want to find out why things are happening, it's because I want to find out why things are happening. So right from school, I stopped checking I didn't check my results all the 4 years because I wanted my results to shock me. But anytime there's like a problem, end of semester, there's a problem with, let's say, total quality management, they are taking names of those who have problems. I'll write my name down and I'll help them fight it. And in some cases, in most of the cases, I don't even have a problem with it, but I'm helping us to question the systems on why these things are happening. Not because I am part of them, giddy, but because somebody needs to talk. In a world where we all cannot have the same qualities. And until recent times, I didn't know you can talk like that. Because you remember how much you think you're a very quiet person. Right?
I don't talk in school.
Exactly.
I used to be like you growing up.
Right.
But I changed. You know, whilst you are growing, you change some things about you. I have changed. I used to be more than you are. Right. Whoever knows me growing up to junior high school to senior high school, I used to be more than you are, but I don't know. I just changed. And
the truth of the matter is, I appreciate it. Like, we all in this world cannot be beautiful to have pretty privileges. If a makeup company wants somebody for the advert, they will come to you, they will not come to me. Yeah. You know, like, we all cannot be fine, right? We all cannot drip in red like this. We all cannot operate the camera. So somebody will operate the camera, somebody will be the producer, somebody will be the presenter. And so if the presenter is doing her presenting job, it is not a place of the cameraman to say, oh, like, you are taking out the spotlight. genuinely, other people just want to be behind the cameras. Other people want to be the one to shape what you have on your tablet. And so they will want to, okay, lights and everything is fine. Everybody in their place. And so in a world where we cannot all have the same capabilities, if mine is to use my voice, then I want to use my voice to articulate change and to get things solved. And so that is where my level of activism emanates or bets from. I remember during one of the times, Arise Ghana demonstration. In fact, even before I take you there, when I got to UPSA, first 2 weeks, there has been an explosion at the atomic, that explosion. Yeah. And then UPSA said we wanted to do a demonstration to take out self-filling station, which was attached to the school. It meant that if there's anytime there's an explosion, it will affect the school. And the first day, we did a small demonstration. We were planning for the Friday. My grandpa called me and said, he just said on the news that I want to do a demonstration. I shouldn't go. So, you don't even know. I'm part of the team that is planning the thing. What are you talking about? But I couldn't tell under his heart. So I just said, okay, all right, I've heard you. But we were at the forefront. Arise Ghana demonstration. He says, I shouldn't go. So you see, some people genuinely cannot be there. Some people genuinely do not know what it takes, what it means for things to change. I have read extensively and I've seen that for things to change, sometimes it even takes bloodshed. Yeah. I'm a Christian. I know how much Jesus Christ, offered his life. And that is what I also want to do, especially if I want to live like Christ. And
are you ready for that?
Oh, yes.
Are you sure you can do that?
I think that I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me.
I doubt.
Of course. I will not expect grace to do what wisdom should do. I will not see fire and go and step in fire. Good. What I'm saying is that I will, with joy and gladness, if one day my life will be taken and it will be for a good cause, like for humanity, for humanity's sake. I'm telling you, I was at this demonstration and then they threw in tear gas. I was around a guy from Joy News throwing the tear gas. I'd never experienced it before. That was the first time. It was that time that I realized that in this world, you are in this world alone.
Alone, yeah.
Yeah.
You run for your life alone.
I couldn't breathe. It was choked. I couldn't see. It took a Rasta man to pour some. I didn't even know where he came from. It was a godsend. Don't worry. But I am telling you that sometimes there's a price to pay. And sometimes this is the price. So there are sometimes you do some level of activism and then you receive some phone calls that you should, and all of that. But it does not mean that we should stop. In recent times, what I'm talking about is the restoration of our muddied water. Because water they say is life. So if our waters are muddied and are filled with heavy metals like mercury and arsenic, then we need somebody to be able to call the government, NDC, through thick and thin. But it does not mean that the right things must not be done. Yesterday, the Ghana Water Company Limited is shutting down water processing plants. It means that we need to make some level of investment, like intentional investment into the restoration of our water bodies. If the solution exists, if the technology exists, we need to make that investment because of ourselves and the next generation. I don't know what will stop me until death.
So do you believe that you are a natural leader?
So I don't know what to say about this, but I know that people argue that leaders are born.
Yeah.
Others like Teshie and Blanchard also believe that leaders are made. In one of my pieces, I said, I've been born and made a leader, right? I think that there are so many things that I'm still learning as I go on. I don't think I know it all. And so that
no one knows it all.
Yes. So that alone will not let me just say that I'm a born leader. I think that I'm still learning in the process. There are some things that I'm still now taking in, okay, some leadership skills, some leadership traits and all of that. And so I'm still in the process. I'm not there yet. But the first level of every leader is to know how to lead yourself first. And that is one of the things that I'm intentional about doing.
So when did you realize that you possess these qualities? At what point?
Interestingly, I've not held any leadership position.
Really?
Yes, interestingly.
But then do you know something? It doesn't necessarily have to be
a position.
Yes.
Yes.
Because even in class, I see what you do.
I mean, I don't know, but
even to lead a demonstration, it is something.
So that is one of the
You
things.
mentioned that in school UPSA, if there is something regarding the exams,
that's true.
Something, you have to you lead them.
But I'll tell you a story about UPSA where one time they had to take me to court because of some of these things. But those are conversations. Oh yes, very interesting.
Wow.
But nobody really, it's my grandpa, my mommy, and then some other few people that know, and then those some of the young people that were in the process. But yeah, like I was saying, I've never held any leadership position. The leader position I've held is JHS 2. From JHS 1 to JHS 3, I was home econs class prefect. Right, that was very competitive. My heart. At the time, I was injured, so I had this white plaster on my chin, and they called me Osama bin Laden because he had died around very early in that time. So the Osama, I think that Osama was what made me win the elections.
Home
econs class prefect. Yeah. When I got to JHS, I wanted to go for school prefect, but my time elections wasn't held. I went to Labone Senior High School because of so many things around. Day students were not allowed to be prefect. I was a day student, so I couldn't. When I was in UPSA, just when elections was going to be held, they said COVID, we should go home. So I didn't get opportunity to also become, but I was running for SRC president. I knew I was going to win because of the works we've put in and all of that. But God in his own wisdom knows best. And he knows what he wants, and that's what he does in his own appointed time. And so I believe in that. When COVID struck, I was now going to final year. We thought it was going to be a 1 week or 2 weeks then. When they said students go home, right? So we went home. After a week, we're still home, 2 weeks. So people didn't even take their laptops. People thought it was holiday. Around that time, it was also like mid-semester exams.
So it was in March.
If we should go home there, yeah. All thanks be to God. Now 1 week, 2 weeks, lockdown, numbers are going up. Now people are getting scared. But the first day we go home, UPSA is online studies. There were several issues, internet issues and all of that. We brought it up. Myself and a few colleagues wrote a letter to management to discuss some of the problems of students. Then management picked it up, did the corrections. 2 weeks later, I saw a letter. You've been summoned to an investigative committee to honorable circumstances under which a letter sent to management was being discussed on the national media. And this whole no to online exams was already in the issues on the national media. So I just granted some interviews to some of the TV stations just to call on the management of the school to listen to the plight of students. Interestingly, it had taken a very wild turn. And they were saying that I should come to an investigation committee. I went there for like 2 hours. I was interrogated by 11 to 13 old men and women. I'm telling you, 2 hours. And even when they say I was badmouthing the name of the school, you can even go and check. Some of the interviews I granted is online. So after that, we thought that was all. Because when they invited me, some of my colleagues were scared. What I told them, like, people like the Kwame Nkrumahs and the Nelson Mandelas have been in prison. Investigation committee, you people are crying. Please stop that. 3 weeks later, they sent a letter that should bring my lawyer.
Mm-hmm.
It said 3 charges. The first charge is I conspired with a group of students to badmouth the name of the school. The second charge is that I failed to use internal means of dispute resolution. And then the third charge was that I was involved in an activity that disrupted the peace and security of the school. I am telling you, at this point, I call my mommy. No, first I call my daddy because so he's not in Ghana. He push, just find whatever. I call my mommy and my mommy say, "Hey, Reggie, Reggie, mommy, you were there. You were taking a video. I shouldn't touch my mouth and my nose. What are you saying?" Call my grandpa. And my grandpa told me that. And this story is what shaped my political identity today. At the time, I was a neutral candidate on campus. And that is a staunch believer of the NPP. He doesn't like the NDC because he served under JJ. So one time they went to risk their life to make some things. Okay, no, let me go into stories. That's fine. Yeah, so my grandpa says, he knows one human rights lawyer. Lawyer so he's very good. But now lawyers also call elections. How lawyers can we pay lawyers also? I call my pastor, MP. Around the time he was not MP, he was not running for the position. I call my pastor says, do prayers and supplication. I said, what does it mean? He said, lay down and surrender it all to Jesus. I said, God, I surrender. He said, cry you. Oh my God. So there were some people in the NDC that were in the situation, and the NDC had arranged for a lawyer for their students. So I tagged along. When the lawyer said, okay, just say that plead not guilty. I have some meeting now. Oh, do you have?
So you were not the only one the school summoned?
I was not the only one.
Okay.
But they called me the gang leader. And then one other lady who was also part of it, she has said it that she will not do politics again because of what they put her through. I have the right to mention him. I would have done that. So, lo and behold, they called for the meeting. I don't have a lawyer. I'm just going with vibes and inshallah and my presence application. Stepping out of campus, I saw a black big car enter the campus, and I received a call. Lawyer Sosu wants to see you. Man, I've not done anything for Lawyer Sosu. He doesn't know me. I'm not his friend. He just took my letter and said, I'll represent you. This thing, if you're not careful, they are going to suspend him for 2 years because he has also suffered something like that. I said, Lawyer Sosu, relax. He says, no, what time they give you? I said, 1 o'clock. And it's 1:30 and they've not called you. I'm going to tell them they're wasting my time. He went in, did everything he had to do. Subsequent sittings, got the entire issue solved. He was still running for office around the time. It was then that I decided that, okay, maybe there's really something good in this political party. Because he came in when he didn't know me. He came in just to ensure that justice is served. And so I studied the two political parties very well, and I decided to go with the NDC. Not to go with the NDC blindly, though. If the NDC messes up and there's supposed to be an amalgamation of young people, I think I'm going to be one of the leaders of those groups.
So as you've walked us through politics, let me ask, while there are many reasons why people enter politics, in recent years, many have pursued it as a way to make quick money. Myself and my viewers, we are interested in understanding your reason for joining politics and why the NDC.
Okay, so I'll start. Why the NDC? Because of the situation that started was purely one of the things that my vice chancellor said around the time was because he says we are allowing ourselves to be used by politicians. I said, excuse me, sir, I did whatever I did out of my own clear conscience. No politician whatsoever influenced my decisions, and I know my mind is straight. He was MPP at the time. I did not fear to say that, but they subjected us to all of these things. Went through a lot of stress. When I look at the lives of Nanado, John Mahama, and the Baumias group, I mean, their generation of politicians. And this is to tell me that these were people that were learning from freedom fighters like the Kwame Nkrumahs. They learned from the lives of the Marcus Garveys. Like they saw their life, they saw their struggles. And these people are losing 19 billion CDs to corruption annually. And my generation is learning from this. It is very catastrophic. And so when I hear people say, oh, give it to your young people, they can do it, it gets me scared a little bit. Mind you, I'm a very staunch believer of young people, but I'm just scared of the level of the way we are learning our politics. Our politics is not service-oriented. It is money-motivated, and it gets very scary. The reason is that most young people are not even chasing careers any longer. They are chasing politics as a career. And so everybody, just out of the invest, I want to be MP. I'm not saying it as bad again, disclaimer. I'm just saying that there needs to be a reason why young people want to enter into politics. My dream has always to be on a table where national and international issues are discussed, just so my comments, my advocacy will reach far. That is my greatest motivation. So even in recent times when people think that, oh, your party is in power, we go fit get NSS people, let's bring them plenty so that we can cash out. I said, that I don't want that. I can show you text messages. That is not my motivation. My motivation is for me to be able to help somebody who the next 3-4 years, when he's with his family, will be able to say, Charlie, you see that guy? That's my plug. That is my biggest motivation. My biggest motivation for even wanting to run for SRC was to be able to come back after 10 years and see the Reginald, whatever led administration achieve this. That is my biggest motivation. In a world where there are so many vulnerable people, in a world where there are about 1.5 billion people that are hungry, the least of the things I want to aspire to be is to be rich. I don't want to be rich.
Do you know the kind of perception that you have? You are likely to get problem. You are likely to be put into hot waters in politics. Do you know that?
Oh, I think I have seen it. I think it has already started coming. I think that and yes, I now doing the quiet and frail.
Yeah.
You know, I've also heard that the system will corrupt me. My everyday prayer is, God, don't let me fall prey. The other thing too is, I am building myself in a way that I attract and maintain some level of friends. Let me explain. If I ever talk to you and say you don't like politics, it is you I want to be friends with. You know why? Usually those people are people that have seen the rot in politics and think that politics is a dirty game. And they are those that I want to associate as friends. The arena needs people like that. The arena needs people that are rooted and grounded in Christ, in Allah, in like people that know wrong from right. Unfortunately, those who like the pastors or those who are religious who enter a few, so the system corrupts them. But if we can form up an association, a group of people who are like-minded, even if the system is corrupting all of us, we'll be able to put each other in check. I do not think that I can do it alone. I do not think that this mindset is capable of taking me far. But I think that if there are more young people with this level of mindset, we can together go far.
I do get it. But don't you see yourself to be someone, or do you see yourself to be someone that will end up being the kind of politicians that you and I despise right now?
May God never let me get there if that is the
Amen.
type of politician I ever want to be. My level of politics is not to be, it's not for self. Like I've always said, in a world where, or in a country where it can be easy for everybody, why is it easy for a selected few? If I read Why Nations Fail and I see the intentionality behind the strong and powerful nations and intentionally keeping some states below them just so that they can always be glorified and they can always be sharing bread down for this small country, then like, what is the essence? It is never a perfect world. I'm not thinking that I'm envisioning a perfect world, but I do not think that I will just get there and follow suit. I have always prayed that I will dare to be different. I've always prayed that I will be relevant. If I'm relevant, everything will change. Yeah.
As a climate activist, you called on the government ahead of the 2026 budget presentation to allocate some funds to take care of the illegal mining activities. But before we even discuss whether some funds were allocated, don't you think there is more to this problem of illegal mining? Because the problem I have is the number of military personnel in this country greatly exceeds the mining sites and the miners themselves. So if indeed they want to end, or we want this thing to end, like shouldn't they be conducting regular raids like on these sites?
That's true.
Because you are talking about like money should be allocated to address an issue. So if the issue, they don't stop the issue, it means every year you have to allocate an amount to address that. So before that, let's stop this first. I don't know if you're making sense
I
to
get what
you.
you mean. Illegal mining is a very serious menace, and until recent times, it has taken a very deep toll on the country. Before even going into illegal mining, I think that there should be a serious and comprehensive audit of all the various mining companies in Ghana, be it the large-scale mining companies and even the small-scale mining companies, right? The truth of the matter is that we need to be able to understand the complexity of the problem before we even go into solve it. If you're a resident of Obuasi and you have lived and grew there for your entire life, and you see Anglo Gold Ashanti Mine, the amount of money that this organization is worth, and they tell you that per an ounce of gold that is sold or mined from Anglo Gold, $2 is donated to a trust to take care of Anglo Gold citizens. And you realize that as of 2024 alone, they mined in excess about 2.6 million ounces of gold from Anglo Gold. What it means is that the amount of money going into the trust is like 5.2 million for to sort out to develop the space, right? But you are reading and you are realizing that over 20 something billion is going to the company alone. Then it makes you feel some level of, sorry to say, but like some level of taking away, like thievery, like sort of. And so young people who are within these areas who do not have sustainable jobs to do will think that this is an angle that they can also go in to be able to get some money. That is where the illegality comes in. Some companies have the legal permits to mine, but they are not mining ethically and they are not mining sustainably. You mine in an area, you are supposed to mine about 100 meters away from a river source, and you are mining close to the river source because you need the river to wash it. That is illegal. So although you have the license, you are still indulging some illegality. Some of you, after mining, after digging, you have to rehabilitate the land, you have to reclaim the land, but they don't do it. So pockets of all of these things is what is contributing to the illegality. Even some of the big mining companies are supposed to restore and reclaim the land. Some of them, because of they go down, they go like 60 stories down. So
60 stories?
Yes, deep. I'm telling you,
there's
an underground elevator. It's called a shaft. That's what they used to go. There's an entire city underground. The underground, I'm telling you, on a fact. They go deep. So because of the dynamite they use in blasting, they don't fill the land well. You realize that you go and build on these lands, and then it'll be you are in your room, and then your room will just fall in because of the holes. And these are some of the experiences of people that live in some of these areas, right? And so you realize that, okay, they feel like they are taking so much from us. Young people are ready and willing to work. Because of unemployment, they think that they want to risk their life to be able to get something small. So they do these levels of illegal mining. To be able to fight the illegal menace, we need to first of all understand the situation. We need to provide some level of alternative source of livelihood for people that mine. And we need to go after the big guys that have the resources to buy the chamfans, the excavators to go into these areas to go and mine illegally. Do you get what I mean?
Yeah.
And so an amount of 115 million Ghana cedis has been allocated to NIMOS. So NIMOS is the anti-illegal mining, the National Anti-Illegal Mining Operations Secretariat. It's an amalgamation of the military, the police, national security, sometimes immigration. So like all security agencies have had their people come together to form that, just so that they can be combating it. My only problem is that their headquarters is in Accra. So they go and do operations and come back. We need to have NIMOS officers attached to various districts, so that
especially
wherever the red zones are, so that they have permanent officers there, so that anytime you know that they are able to go in like that. But of course, they had complained that because their budgetary allocations is small, that is why. But now, because it has gone up a little bit, I'm hoping that they'll be able to fight it better. The other thing too is that I do not even know why we are talking about budgetary allocations. Like, their operations brings money. If you go and catch these illegal miners and they have...
You were the one that called on the government to allocate some money.
Yes, I called on that.
So why are we talking about budgetary allocation? When you called on the government to allocate some money.
So NIMOS has said that their operations are limited. So they are not able to find, they need logistics, but the resources are not available. So government, let's allocate more resources. But what I'm also saying is that we shouldn't make it look like we are going to go out of our way to allocate resources to them. When they go for operations, you arrest these guys. Some of them have the gold, the minerals, and all of that. We can liquidate it to get resources for them to...
Just like the last time they see some excavators and they bent it.
You understand?
Like, why should you bend it?
No. So usually they say that they take the chip away, and the chip to be able to... the excavator without the chip will not move. But I still do not think that you should bend it. Yeah. You can still use it for scraps and still get some resources. You can even
use it for legal mining.
Yeah, you can use it to distill gutters. Recently I must commend them though. They donated some water pumps to the Agric Ministry for irrigation purpose, so that they give it to the farmers. We should use the excavators to also distill heavily filled gutters. The other thing too is even the gold board. They have the gold board task force. They go and then they catch people that are smuggling monies, sometimes to a tune of about 350 million. What are all those monies being used for? If it is that we are going to be using these monies to build hospitals and schools in areas that are suffering from illegal mining, we should still be able to have a part of these monies going to the secretariat to help them to combat this illegal mining menace. Because trust me, we sit in Accra.
It is worse
and
than we know.
And we make it think it is far away. I have plenty of pictures for over 3 to 4 years. In fact, I travel around to go and see how they effect on these things. Sometimes the early ages, you need to travel like 1 hour, 2 hours into the bushes before you find them. But now, even on the Accra Kumasi Road, Etiwa East, Etiwa West, they are mining close to the road. It's an eyesore. Yeah.
Do you agree with me that if we don't put a stop to the illegal mining, allocating some money to restore these lands and our water bodies would be something that we have to be doing it regularly?
I completely agree. I don't think that when we're growing up in the year 2005, 2003, 2002, we're hearing these things as much.
No.
But because we've watched for it to go on, that is how come it has gotten to the brim. If you are not careful, by between 2030 to 2035 will be importing water. The only country that I know that does that, I think in one of my articles, I cited them, Vet. I do not think we want to get there.
Water.
Yeah.
That's bad.
Yeah, I do not think we want to get there. And so I think we need to be able to get some of these things corrected. And I like the government's will to pass a decree. So in the year 2022, the Parliament passed a bill that allowed people to enter into a forest reserve to mine. That bill, LI 2416, has been repealed. So it means that nobody has the right to enter into a forest reserve to go and mine again. If you enter to mine, it means that you'll be treated as a criminal. You might be jailed, or you might be, anything that comes with criminality. And so, yeah, I think that we need to put a stop to it. It needs to stop. Other than the very future of this country is at stake.
You're a politician, but do you agree that the issue of illegal mining is politicized?
Hugely politicized. Both personalities from the political divide are said to be benefiting from it. And I think that as a people, we shouldn't be this greedy that you want to benefit at the detriment of the health and safety and the future of the country. Like, what at all are you amassing all of this wealth for when you cannot even promise yourself that you can live after 90 years? Like, we are not immortal. We will eventually die. And so I do not see why we need to be greedy to this radical extent.
Some few weeks ago, Ibrahim Mahama said something. So you cannot be a king in the cemetery or something. He said something.
Oh yes.
He said you cannot be a king or something like in the cemetery. Yeah. It means what are you going to do with all this money?
If you are the richest man in the cemetery, what does it mean? Like, what will you take it to? It doesn't make sense.
You mentioned about unemployment, but before then, I wanted to say this, but I forgot. During Akufo-Addo's administration, all of us were complaining that he should fix the country, he should take care of this illegal mining. But today, in your government administration, people are calling chiefs. Why?
People are calling chiefs.
Like chiefs, that they should do something.
So I think that, and it is good that you brought this up, the issue of mining cannot just be solved by the politician. I completely agree that there needs to be a political will and political commitment to fight illegal mining. That is one of the things that I think that this government has demonstrated. The other thing, though, is they need to involve the chiefs in solving this problem. As a politician, you do not know the land more than the chief. So let me take you through. In Ghana, the chiefs are the custodians of the land. The lands belong to various families so you hear my grandpa says, oh, there's a family land in the village, but the chiefs are the custodians of the land. They give out the land and all of that. But the constitution suggests that any mineral that is found on the surface of the land, beneath the land, or even in the deep waters, is vested in the hands of the president to represent the people. And so if this is your land and you find gold on it, the gold does not belong to you.
Really?
It belongs to the government. It belongs to that is vested in the hands of the president, who is taking care of it for the citizenry. But if we are able to find and involve the chiefs in combating illegal mining, it will help us. It will serve as a good. Any village that you travel to, where you see illegal mining going on, you ask them, well, how did you get the land? They'll tell that it was from the chief or it was from the family. I don't blame them to a large extent because sometimes some of these cocoa farmers, how much? It takes them about 5 to 10 years before they're able to realize like 250,000 Ghana cedis. But within a blink of an eye, somebody comes and says, okay, this land or this your house, this is ready cash, they give it to you. So these things like this coerce people to want to give up the land. But if you involve the chief, you equip them, you give them all the resources that they need to be able to not to give up the land or to be able to fight this illegal mining, I think we'll be able to sleep. And once we go to a place in the eastern region, there's illegal mining. There's a chief. Every land in this country, there's a chief that lords over the land. They will be able to give account of their lands. Period.
But during Akufo-Addo's administration, you as an NDC officer,
yes,
Reggie,
Reginald, yes.
You as Officer Reggie,
yes.
You were calling on the government.
Yes.
You don't call on chiefs. Why?
So what I'm telling you is that within 2017 to 2024, government gave out license to mining forest, license for mining to a tune of about 2,400. When from 2008 to 2016, it was just over 40 or 50 something licenses. It meant that it has skyrocketed. You get what I mean? And this was a president that told me that he will put his presidency on the line. If he's not able to fight illegal mining, I should hold him responsible. And this is also a precedent that his Minister of Environment came out with a report to say that his party, Apatrix and cronies, are involved in illegal mining. He cited Akonta mining. The president held a press conference to say that Akonta mining is not involved in any illegality. Today, Akonta mining is standing trial because Akonta mining did not just involve in illegality, they also stood in as a middleman to even give up some concessions. So that is why I'll call out. That's why I'll call out Leonardo Akufo-Addo.
But now, why are you calling on chiefs? That is my problem.
So I'm telling you that. Now,
you're not.
Then you're not also getting my explanations. So I'm not saying that. I've called on His Excellency to increase budgetary allocations. I have told you that there needs to be political will. There needs to be political commitment. I have told you that we need to bring chiefs in the fight too. We need to invite them. So to be able to fight a heads on, you need to bring the players. I'll tell you another story. I think under Akufo-Addo, there was Aisha Wan, who was regarded as the Galamsey Queen, who was deported, came back again. There was a meeting, I think a group of people were meeting. He's called Shitten Wan, the former Chinese ambassador to Ghana, who was questioned about illegal mining and Chinese involvement in illegal mining. Do you know what he said?
Tell me.
He said that the Chinese do not know where the gold is. It's the Ghanaians that do.
Yeah, and that's true.
Why did we involve the Chinese ambassador? Because we think that the Chinese are a stakeholder in the problem. And so to be able to find a solution to the fight, we need to bring the stakeholders. We think that the chiefs will play a very important role in the fight. That is forward looking. That is like solution oriented.
You're a politician, so you want to manipulate me. That's
I'm not manipulating you. I do not want to be a manipulative politician.
Let's move on to this. I wanted to talk about it earlier and I came in with something else. You mentioned unemployment, right? So one of the central issues facing Ghana currently is the issue of unemployment. And providing job opportunities was a key message in your campaign. We are now 11 months into His Excellency John Dramani Mahama's administration.
Yes.
And beyond the recruitment of police and fire assistants, what other initiatives has His Excellency introduced that will provide employment opportunities for the youth?
In the year 2021, I did a research. I was looking at the unemployment rate and the security challenges it imposes in Ghana. I realized I only used Medina and Adenta because I was coming out of school, UPSA. I knew how much the boys will be snatching and questioning the students. So I wanted to understand what really is going on. I realized that unemployment rate is at an all-time level high because of our growing population and the lack of government innovative ways to provide people with jobs. Then I also looked at it and then I realized that if a young person wakes up early in the morning and wants to work and does not get work to do, they indulge themselves in social vices. So you realize that now young people smoke.
Yeah.
They abuse drugs. I don't want to go into where. And the hookup culture has also picked up. It is no longer those who stand at Circle and on the Oxford Street. Now there are mobile apps for hookups and all of that.
Mobile apps
Okay, let me
in
not go
Ghana
into it.
here.
Let me not go into it. But what I'm just trying to say is that, like, because young people do not have decent jobs doing, they indulge in social vices. The other thing, though, that I wanted to do in line with activism and in job creation is there are so many young people that are also underemployed. Usually we overlook them. People that work in the palace malls, the Melcoms, the full attendants, like they are seriously underemployed. Some of them are earning as little as below 1,000 cedis a month. If you live in a country that the average cost of living in a day is around 75 cedis, and you are living, your salary is like 800 cedis, 600 whatever cedis, I think it is an eyesore. But we need the government, the Minister of Labor, the Commission for Fair Wages and Salaries to be able to come through for these people. Because the employer's argument is that, oh, your country has given us a minimum wage and we are even paying you slightly above the minimum wage. Why are you doing that to us? How will young people be able to live a decent life? They work their heads off, they work their strength off. They are not able to get to the retirement age and they are already looking old just to be able to take home like peanuts, right? The next thing is, what is the NDC government doing different? The NDC government, before coming into power, suggested that we need to give young people skills. Because the research suggested that around between 60 to 70% of young people do not have skills. So we have gone to school. Still, education is the key to success, though. But the keys that we are receiving now, the locks have been changed. So we need to make sure that we are also giving them the right keys. So we need to sharpen their skills. Now, Ghana is a growing economy. Ghana is a developing country. It means that if you go to the US, the way you see everything already built, Ghana, it is now being built. So if Ghana is now being built and we want to lay railways, we want to bring people from Brazil, from China, from where? To now come and construct our roads, when we can have skilled men who will do the construction of the railway lines. So we need to train them. That is why we launched the National Apprenticeship Program, which is supposed to bring some training to young people across the 16 regions of the country. So there's a national secretariat, there are regional secretariats, they have rolled out the program and they are training people in various fields. Every field you can think of. Every field you can think of, they are training people to be able to garner some skills to get themselves readily available. We also launched the National Coders Program, which is supposed to train, I think, 2 million people at the end of the 4 years. The idea is digital skill is in high demand. And so if we need web developers, we need all of those people, and our country is not positioning itself to be able to match up to the global demands. We need to train our young people to have these skills. If they have the skills, online jobs are a lot. Some of them are taking like, $1,200 a month. If you convert it, it's good money to live a decent life in Ghana. You get it. And so National Coders Program is also one of the things we are doing. The other thing is that there are so many people that have business ideas. When I was in school, so many business ideas. Sometimes we do not have the financial muscles, the right tools to be able to unleash these ideas, to be able to scale up and make it a business. So the government, through a program we call the Ejumera program, is set to support 20,000 young people with funding for their businesses. So if you're a business if it's an idea, we'll help you flesh the idea out to become a business. We'll support you. If it is a business that's already running and you need government intervention to scale up, we'll support you. And all of that. So that's the Jumera. Also, if you're a young person that is interested in aquaculture, there are various training that we do for you. So like fisheries and all of that, they train you and then they set you up. If you're a young person that is interested in poultry, through the Cook on Kitchen program, you are going to be given some poultry, you'll be given all the necessary tools and equipment you need to support you. So I think that the government in its own sense is not solving the entire problem, but I see the will, I see the commitment to ensuring that young people are supported. If you're a nurse, if you're a teacher, and you've been home from 2017, you've not been posted, or from 2019, you've not been, yesterday I saw some of them picketing. This is a government that's things that we do not want to just employ you and then not give financial clearance like the SY government did. And so we need to put the infrastructure in place. If you build a school, if students are going to school, which people will be working in the schools?
If you build a school,
If you build a school and there are students in the school, which people will be working in the schools?
you employ people to work in the
So
school.
which people will you employ? Teachers, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so if the NDC says you are going to build 200 new kindergartens, 200 new junior high school, 200 senior dormitory blocks and all of that, which people are going to be benefiting? Teachers. We're also building bungalows for teachers because we once upon a time had a government that said that, oh, for teachers, your reward is in heaven. Mahama thinks that your reward is on earth. As a teacher, the teachers are those who shape who we are today. They are those who shape our national fabric. They shape they are the architectures of the country.
That's true.
And so if you do not treat them well, then they also not treat us well. We didn't learn from good teachers, like we'll not be here. So for nurses, for doctors, we are going to be building 5 new regional hospitals. We are going to be completing about 10 of the Agenda 111 hospitals. We are going to make sure that all of this infrastructure is put in place so that you will be employed.
Okay.
Do you get what I mean?
You mentioned that you're going to build more hospitals and recruit more nurses. But then just recently, nurses were on strike. I think it was a demonstration rather.
Yeah, nurses and doctors and teachers were all on strike.
So
yes. So
they've not been paid.
Yes. I was going to talk about that.
Okay.
So like I said, these were nurses and teachers that were employed in 2024. They had been employed, but they were not given financial clearance. What it means, if you're working within the government sector, it's not like those of us who work within the private sector that once your letter of employment is coming, they're already asking for your bank details to put in the money, to put in the resources at the end of the month. These ones, you need financial clearance because you'll be paid from the controller, right? Or from various payment systems and all of that. You need financial clearance because which part of how much of government fund is going to be paying it? Like all of these things must be ascertained. Personally, if you visit some of the things I've said in the past, I do not think that as a country we need to starve our teachers and our nurses to this extent. I don't know how I'll survive 1 month without salary because it is as you go, And so for them to live 10 months and have not been paid, I don't know how they are going because you go to the hospital, truth be told, the role of the nurses is often underrated, and I think they receive more backlash than praise. The nurses save our lives. I was one time in the hospital, was the nurses, they'll come in, they'll check in, you ring the bell and they are there. Like they are swift in their actions and all of that. They'll check, oh please, it's coming, it will be this. Like they make sure you are fine and all of that. And so if the nurses are doing all of this and they are coming and they are going home on an empty stomach and have not been paid, I don't think it is fair to them at all. And so I called on the government as a matter of urgency to be able to intervene. The Ministry of Finance has intervened. I think they have received their clearance now. Now, the issue on board right now is those that have not been posted yet. So they've graduated from school, but they've not been posted. We need to create spaces for them. We need to get them employed. Because why will I go to school and then graduate and not have jobs to do? They need to be employed. Other thing is that there's been an agreement within Ghana and the Barbados to be able to export some nurses to Ghana. So we are going to be doing job export. The job export program is one of the things that the government had announced. Yeah.
So talking about Ejumapa something, you mentioned some Ejumapa initiative.
Yeah.
Don't you think there will be favoritism there?
I pray not. I completely admire the man that is in charge of affairs. Master Eric J has demonstrated that he is more Ghanaian than wanting to do like. And when you listen to Osman Ayariga, when you listen to Georgia Parado, see, we've now moved from the time of partisanship, the time of national politics. Like it is now the nation. It is the nation first. I do not think that if we are both sick and they cut our skin, they will see NPP or NDC first. Like we are Ghanaians first, and so they should prioritize Ghanaians, and that should be the thing. I do not pray that it should be favoritism, and of course, the 24-hour economy too is coming. And
I forgot to talk about
one
that.
job, 3 shift, 3 people is coming.
Adenta DVLA, they are operating on 24-hour economy.
Yes, and we are going to be operating on full scale. What is happening is that you need to build infrastructure. You need to build it. That's why we are making sure that our road networks are good. Roadway networks are working. Street lights, security.
How far with the Kumasi Accra way?
The expressway? Mm-hmm. Or are you talking about the one here? Because we are going to build a new one. We are going to build a 6 new expressway from Accra to
Kumasi,
Kumasi.
Accra.
Yes.
You should hurry.
Yeah, you're going to build the expressway. It is going to cut down travel time to about 1 hour 30 minutes. Like it will reduce it by 1 hour 30 minutes.
Okay.
You're going to have about 6 to 8 interchanges on that expressway. You're going to have a toll booth, AI toll booth enhanced system. Like Ghana Baba FL.
Oh, as for JDM, I believe in him when it comes to infrastructure. Yeah, okay. I believe in him.
Thank God. Ghana, my everyday prayer now is that God, let me also live to see some of these things.
Before I forget.
Yeah.
You say you want to be the president of Ghana.
Yes.
In 2052.
Yes.
So what are you doing towards that?
I want to be president of Ghana by 2052. And my camellia by 2048. What am I doing? I think that leadership is about service. One of the things that I'm committed to doing is making sure that I serve. And when I serve, I will see a time will come where I see my divine advancement. It will not come just because it has come, but because I've served. And not just because I've served, but because I've served well. You know, I think mine is about service. That is all what I'm doing. At every point I get, everywhere, everybody, I just think I want to serve. The other thing too is that I need to sharpen myself. I need to get myself prepared. I need to build networks that matter. I need to do it, and that is what I'm doing.
Which constituency are you in?
I grew up in the Lejokuku constituency.
Okay. Yeah. Let's go back to you as an entrepreneur. You didn't talk about that. So your passion for entrepreneurship led you to compete in the MTN
Where did you find all of these
challenge? MTN Pulse Business Challenge 2021, right? And thankfully, you emerged as the overall winner, receiving a cash prize.
Don't ask me what I used the money for.
10,000 cedis, of course.
Oh.
What business did you do with the money? And what progress has the business made since then?
Don't do that. Right? I think that
if you don't talk about this, MTN Pulse will be disappointed in you. No,
MTN Pulse
they'll be disappointed in you
they are talking
because
about,
you're an entrepreneur. By now, you should tell me, I have branches here, I have this, I have that.
You see?
Why don't you want to talk about it?
No, I'm going to talk about it.
Good.
But what I'm saying is that have branches. You see, sometimes we raise the bar too high. If you're not able to get there, then we beat ourselves up. We should acknowledge small steps and applaud ourselves for the little steps that we take. When I was in school, I think that with a friend, James Abba, I was with him this morning. We started the Podash processing company. It is a black soap manufacturing company. We're putting in a lot of technology. We're trying to end the seasonal unemployment of cocoa farmers. We also did with Dolly, Albert Dolly, we did cake seduction, get seduced with a single bite.
Get what?
Get seduced with a single bite. It's cake. We do cake in a jar. Get seduced with a whole lot of things. So now I have what we call the EXPR for Tourism Ghana. What I do is I think that the conversation from the continent to the other parts of the world is that Africa is impoverished, poor, people live on trees and all of that. So I introduced the beauty of Ghana to Ghanaians and to diasporans. That is what I do with EXPR for Tourism Ghana. I'm part of Farmitecture as a social agri-tech that seeks to grow the next generation of urban farmers using our vertical farming technology, cutting egg technology. So that is Farmitecture too. There are parts and pieces of so many other things. I'm with Baxter. Baxter, what we seek to do is to help people with home ownership. So there are Ghanaians that live in the diaspora. Usually they send monies to their family members to build a house for them or of sort. Sometimes they don't even have the money. What we do is that we have real estate companies. We partner with them. We have banks. Based on their credit score, we're able to get them a facility to be able to get them their mortgage. And they pay later. It's a lot of things that is happening within the space. Yeah.
So that is, you didn't tell me the progress the business has made since then.
I mean,
so you started the 10,000 cities with Podash.
Podash had already started with that before the 10,000 cities. Mm-hmm. Podash is on a long pause because of so many other things. Farmitecture is happening. EXPR for tourism is happening. Baxter is happening.
What about Tour Ghana?
Yeah, that's EXP Afro Tourism Ghana. We've changed the name to EXP Afro Tourism Ghana.
So you know,
you've got
I'm going to
tips.
do a personality interview. So what do you expect?
I thought I was going to talk about politics, but I like this though. I've not spoken about this and that. Wow.
I did my homework very well.
Wow.
I know what I'm doing.
Wow.
So in all of this, I want you to describe a moment that you faced a setback. From this to that. Definitely you faced a setback. So we want to know, and how did you handle that?
Okay. So there are moments of so many setbacks, right? Because you appear on TV, people think you have money, right?
Like myself, people think I have money.
Right, me too. I think you have money. Like
Oh,
you
Reggie.
see tablets you have on there. It's not cheap. You have the pencil. Yeah. Please, let's be serious right now.
Go.
So because of the many things that people think I have money, and I thank God for that. I pray I receive it. So there are lots of pressure from family, friends, people you meet, and all of that. And so, like, they call, text, they have problems. Charlie, in a day, I receive messages to say, Momo, like, God knows how many.
Especially your government stays in power.
Yes, they think your government, some of them, they need help with this. I respect all of that. So at one point, I got tired. In fact, when I was in school, I didn't even tell you my situation, but it's fine. Okay. One time when I was in school, I was working. I thought I've gotten to that point where I am overly exhausted. There's a major setback. I wanted to leave whatever I'm doing. I want to change my contact. I want to go far away. I want to start life from ground zero. Like, I am tired. But I'm always grateful to God. I'm grateful to my grandpa. So what I decided to do was to call my grandpa to tell him that I'm going to change my contacts. If he doesn't hear from me, I'll call him. But he should know that it's because I'm tired. Too much pressure. Then he told me something. And again, because I'm Christian, he said, when Samson prayed for strength, God didn't increase his muscles. When Solomon prayed for wisdom, God didn't open his head to put wisdom in his head. But rather for Samson, he confronted him with a difficult situation that will require his strength. For Solomon, he confronted him with a situation that will require his wisdom. And so if I am confronted with these challenges, it means that God has prepared and equipped me for it. Immediately I changed my mind towards it. So send all your problems, I said. Send all your problems, because if the more you send problems, the more God will make me solve it. So the more you tell me you need money, and it is the more God is going to make divine provision for it. And so I do not see them as setbacks. I see them as preparations. And so I have a favorite quote I love, that the struggle we endure makes the success we achieve worthwhile. The struggle we endure makes the success we achieve worthwhile. Without the pain, you don't appreciate the gain. Without the stress, you don't appreciate you don't appreciate the freedom. Do you understand? And so every struggle I've been through, every struggle I'm going through today, I always thank God, because it's preparing me for that great success. And it's just when you're about to get to the finish line that the race gets most difficult. That's when you feel like,
the toughest times.
No, but if you can hold on one more time, if I give it a little bit more of tenacity, that is when you're going to get there. And there's a glory that comes.
So at that time when things get so tough, what keeps you going?
Apart from God, is my grandpa. It's my grandpa that I always follow. Like, I call him, and that is all. Because personally, I don't drink, I don't smoke.
Oh, really?
No, I've never drank. I've never drank. I've never smoked. So it's like vibes and inshallah. It's God and my grandpa. And sometimes my mommy, but mainly because I don't have a girlfriend too, so it's not like I'll call my girl. Yeah, unfortunately.
We'll talk about this after this. But let me go out of context. Yeah. Is your grandpa alive?
My grandpa is alive. I spoke to him before this interview.
Oh,
he's
wow.
aware. Yes.
He's now a proud grandfather.
Yeah. Not fully, but almost.
No, he is.
Yeah, I think so. I think so.
He is. Because there are so many people you are way older than that. They are still finding their feet. Yeah. So yes, he is.
I called him that I have a wedding to attend. I need a kente, and he says, "Oh, he's bringing me kente." I was like, "Oh my God!"
Really?
Yeah.
So let me ask: is it easy?
I don't think that there's a promise that it will be easy, but the promise is that grace will be sufficient for us to keep going. And so, don't approach life as easy. Don't approach anything as easy. Even those who did science in school said science was difficult than visual arts. But those doing visual arts also know that there's no. So I don't think that there's anything easy anywhere. What I think is that grace is sufficient for all of it.
So what message would you want people to take away from the story that you have shared with me?
I think that this is too cliche, that there's light at the end of the tunnel. Some of us...
So it's not a cliche. There is light at the end of the tunnel. There is.
No, but usually, like, we've heard it over and over. Myself, sometimes I say, oh, Charlie, people see me and say, no, Charlie, you're going to be a big guy. Charlie, I see it. Charlie, you see it, but I can't see it. Like, I'm awake and all I've eaten is Kivo Guy free adverts, you know? Like,
it will come,
and all of that. And so I think that although sometimes it might sound as a cliche, sometimes it might sound as everybody saying it, with hard work, dedication, consistency, you will eventually see the light at the end of the tunnel. I say that in my story, I do not think that I was born with a silver spoon in my mouth. If I tell you some of the things, there's been so many times where when I was in the university, I cry because, Charlie, the fees I cannot pay. My parents paid my fees just 1 year. My mommy contributed 2 times my fees. My dad, the rest of it, I don't know how I paid. I don't know if I was not working. I'll wear suit and tie and I'll be on campus, gallivanting left, right, front, back, center. The time that I've not paid my fees and 3 days exams, people come to you, they've not paid, and you go around with them trying to help solicit for money to pay their fees.
In school?
Yes.
Really?
But the more I did it, the more God showed his face. Final year, final semester, I thought I'd given up on school. I'm telling you, I was traveling around the country when I not paid my fees. That's why I'm grateful for everybody that has come into my life. My friends were in Accra, Charlie, doing calls, trying to find money to pay my fees. I was here in Zulezu here. It was a paid trip, right? I came back, Charlie, nothing. I thought it was the end. I thought, I thought that was it. But that was when God will come through to show his face. And so, keep doing what you are doing. Just know that it wasn't promised that it was going to be easy, but grace is sufficient. Grace is sufficient.
As Mlako said, we used to starve, and now we get options. Now we have options. Variety.
That's true, though. Because today, I decided I want to go get some cute massage, you know. I can go to the beach and go get some...
A massage with a happy ending.
Oh, no.
I don't trust you,
I'm
Reggie.
a virgin.
I never said you're not.
But I'm telling you, I don't have happy endings.
Now you are just telling me yourself that you are guilty of what you're saying. Because I just said a massage with a happy ending, and you said you are a virgin.
Because
I didn't ask you.
Because I know our time and age. I know young people and what we say happy ending, what it means. But I also do not have myself to prove. What I have to tell you is that I am who I am, and it is to myself. I'm accountable to myself.
He said he is who he is, and he is accountable to himself. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for having me.
Officer Reggie. It is inspiring to see how today's youth are actively engaging in the nation's decision processes and in global issues as well. It demonstrates that we are ready to lead the world. Are we not?
Yeah, we are. We are ready
to lead the
right
world.
Mindsets we can.
So as Reggie said, he didn't start his journey recently. It took him years of dedication, you said, right? Consistency, determination, and prayer. Because you mentioned prayer. As a Christian, you mentioned prayer so much.
Yes.
So he didn't start his journey recently. It took him years of dedication, consistency, determination, and prayer to get to where he is today. So I want to tell you, as I asked him, it is easy? He said, no, it is not. So it is not easy, but success, it is assured. Only if you put in the necessary work and you make sure you are moving in the right direction. As Kobe says, you are moving in the right direction. So for having time to watch this, thank you so much. Kindly subscribe to our YouTube channel, The Cindy Show, and do well to follow us on all our social media platforms. Thank you once again.
Please subscribe. I want
to see Reggie's followers after this.